Alrighty. Go ahead and state your name.
I'm Gene.
Okay, and let me
take Humanist Alliance.
All right, let me get a picture of your sign here. All right, go ahead and say what you were wanting to say, Gene.
Well, basically, to restate what you were talking about, the that there being no other purpose besides reproduction. When you talk about the actual reasons for us being here, yeah, that's pretty much we're here to reproduce. But
says who?
The natural selection and evolution.
When did that decide? Who determined that we're?
Nobody determined that. That's the thing.
All right.
We don't have any belief that
then you can't say that that's right or wrong or it's how it should
right.
be.
We don't say that it's right.
There really is no how things should be. There just is what it is.
We say we don't know. Okay? As a matter of fact, when I was over here passing out my card, I said, these guys may be right, but they don't have any proof. It's the bottom line. The most plausible answer is always the one you should default to. And the most plausible answer that we've got right now with all the modern science is not supernatural in any answer that we give. Does that mean God doesn't exist? No, I can't prove that to you. Does that mean that before the Big Bang, or whatever happened if the Big Bang's not the answer, was there something that set it all in motion? Can't answer that either. We may never be able to answer that.
Let me ask you this,
Gene. But to default to a supernatural answer doesn't make sense to us.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, Gene. If there is no God, you believe there is no God? Is that your...
I believe the most plausible answer is there is no supernatural.
Okay. If there is no God, does your life have value, and why?
By society, what we make it. Because while we're here on this earth,
no, I mean what other people say or do doesn't matter.
Leave as much of an impression as we can.
For what purpose?
For the purpose of the advancement of our species.
But aren't you just a person who's just going to die? Do you believe that when you die, you'll just cease to exist?
Yes, I do.
And you'll have no memory of what you did that was fun. You'll have no regret for what you could have done more of. You'll just cease to exist and turn to black. Okay. Then why is anything that you do during this life matter at all? Why is there any value in anything you do?
Why does there have to be a reason?
I'm just asking you if you believe. I respect atheists who believe that their life has no value and no meaning whatsoever.
But you're simplifying the issue.
No.
I'm not saying that our life has no value.
Are you saying it does have value, and why does it have value? Why?
Because we've struggled very hard, not only to survive as a species, but to work our way up intelligently to be able to create buildings and roads and an infrastructure.
Who says that building buildings is any better than living in a hollowed out tree? Why is that better? See, what I'm saying is I don't believe an atheist has a foundation for something being better, worse, good, bad, moral, or immoral.
I do.
Because if there is no value outside of us, then all I am is just a big sack of chemicals that's just doing what I'm doing, and I'm no different.
But does that opinion in itself prove the existence of a supernatural deity?
No, I didn't say. What I want to do is I'm saying let's say, as a devil's advocate, that let's say if there is no God.
Okay.
What I want to do is I like atheists who live consistently with that. There's one atheist that I really respect is Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway was a consistent atheist because he said life is a dirty trick. It's a short journey from nothingness to nothingness. Man's existence in this universe is no different than a colony of ants trapped on a burning log. And in the end, he ended up killing himself. Now, I don't condone someone killing themselves, but I actually respect the fact that he lived his atheism to its logical conclusion, that there is no meaning in life. If all I am is just a collection of elements on the periodic table, there's no elements on the periodic table that can develop right or wrong, moral or immoral.
Okay.
There just is what it is. And Gene, your life and what you do with your life is no different than that can of soda and me shaking up that can of soda and it's spraying around.
But
it's just chemicals doing stuff.
The argument that you're making is that in itself is the proof for God.
No, I'm not even bringing God into the equation. I'm saying let's go under the scenario that there is no God. If there is no God, then how would the world actually work? I'm not saying that that proves there is a God.
Exactly. What would the world look like if there was no God?
There would actually be no meaning to anything.
How do you know that?
If all I am, because
how do you know that?
What I'm saying is
because if there is no God, then your hypothesis is completely wrong.
Well, would you agree
we,
that
as a species, have created purpose and meaning for ourselves?
Well, that's like.
Let me ask you this: do you believe that animals have a soul going to heaven?
No.
Okay. Why are they here? What's their meaning? What's their purpose?
They were creations of God. They were just creations of God. He created for His glory and for His good purpose.
I mean, if you look at it from a scientific point of view, strictly a scientific point of view, take out indoctrination, take out religion of any kind, what you end up with is some very specific evidence that everything's connected and everything comes from one thing. I mean, look at the fact that most species on this earth have eyes, have the senses that we have. There's a great documentary on right now called Our Inner Fish, which actually goes back and shows evidence for how we basically evolved. We all have a common ancestor. So, yeah, we've worked hard to put a meaning in our life. And the fact that we've built societies and we sustain societies is the absolute meaning now for us.
Okay, but what I'm saying
it was just survival.
But what I'm saying is that if in the end, if all we are is just accidents of time, or maybe not even an accident, because an accident would be begging the question that there's something that there should be. But if all we are is just chemicals, just doing what chemicals do, and then we're going to die, and there's no memory of what we did that was good. There's no regret of what we could have done more. And even the children that we create, and we give them a good life, whatever good is by an atheistic standard, then they're going to die and have no memory, no recollection of what they did that was fun, what they did. So in essence, all we are then is just generation after generation of people whose lives have no meaning because they're just going off into oblivion. And in the end, would you agree that the sun will go supernova and just completely encompass the earth and burn it up to a piece of charcoal?
Evidence.
Who is this guy? What are you talking about?
Do I don't know. It's like one of our
So if in the end all that's gonna happen is just the sun's gonna go supernova and this is all gonna be destroyed anyway, right. We'll just have nothing but billions of people who really accomplished nothing at all.
Let me make this point.
About a couple more minutes and then I gotta give him a break.
I understand.
So
I need a break too.
2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
And I appreciate your time.
What you're talking about is a great point for the fact that we are incredibly sophisticated species. How did we get that way, and what's the meaning of it all? Maybe there is no meaning, is my point. Maybe there is. However, neither one of those things says that there's a supernatural deity, and even if we suppose there's a supernatural deity, which one?
Right.
Who's right?
And what my point was is that nothing that I was saying was aimed at saying this proves that there is a God. What I'm saying is, if someone wants to be an atheist,
don't need to be arguing that point.
Well, what I'm saying is that if someone wants to be an atheist, I'm fine with that, but only to the extent that they be consistent with it.
Right.
Because I believe if someone lives out to the fullest extent what their faith is, that eventually they'll come to the truth. That just like Ernest Hemingway, maybe he sat there on that last day, and maybe he had a Bible on one side of the table and a gun on the other, and he chose the gun. And I think that's what every atheist
had nothing to do with any of that.
But like I said, at least he, Nietzsche was a very consistent atheist, and those are the ones I respect. But what I'm saying is that don't get the benefits of atheism by saying there is no God, so you can live however you want, but then also steal from a Christian worldview of saying there's things as right and wrong, moral and immoral, which can't actually exist in a pure atheistic standpoint.
There can be morals.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that this is good for our society and this is bad for our society.
Who determined that is what becomes
Because
moral and
it's
what's
very
not.
simple to understand what's good for our society and what's bad for our society.
Who determined that what's good for a society
We
is
did.
moral?
We
What
did
if I
because we're intelligent?
Who's we? What if I decide, listen, I could care less what society says. I want what's best for me.
Okay.
And I don't want to live by these social constraints, and I don't want to live by this social code. I'm just going to go live up in the mountains by myself, and every once in a while, if I need stuff, I'll come down and steal stuff, and then go back up to the mountain.
Okay, whoa,
What's wrong with
stop
that?
right there. Because is stealing things good for our society?
It's good for me. If I'm
I'm
an
not
atheist,
talking about you.
what I'm saying
That's
is,
the whole point. You're
but would I be wrong?
You are simplifying your whole society as you. We're
Yeah,
talking
what's
about
wrong with
society.
that? What would be
So-
wrong with that?
Because that's not good for society.
What if I don't care what's good for society? Why does
Then-
that make
Then
me
what
wrong?
does any of it matter?
I'm saying nothing matters. That's the whole point I'm trying to make of an atheistic worldview, is that none of it matters, and you also wouldn't have the right to say, if I didn't agree with some societal constraint to not steal and kill and rape, and if I chose, hey, I want what's best for me, and I did those things, you would have no basis on which to say you're right and I'm wrong.
Here's a way to boil down morality for an atheist.
Wrap it up in
Okay?
about 1 minute, and then I'll
All right.
switch. You get the last words. 1 minute.
Boil down morality for an atheist. If you don't want it done to you, you don't do it to somebody else.
Why?
You take that and apply it to everything else, everything in this world, it works.
What if I don't care? What if I don't care?
Then you've got a whole other issue. You're not a moral atheist.
See, I think
you're not
you-
a humanist. See, us as humanists, we basically say it is our ability. We have an ability and a responsibility to be good. Just because we don't believe in a God
But you
doesn't
just-
take that
But
responsibility
you have no
away.
foundation to base that goodness on.
Who cares?
You're
Who
being
cares if I
arbitrary.
have no foundation if I'm doing good?
You're making an arbitrary
Which I
decision on
disagree.
what good is,
I disagree. I believe
based on
evolution-
your personal preferences.
I know you gotta go. I know evolution has created the restraints for us. It has taught us if you do this, it's good for the society. If you do this, it's bad.
All righty, Gene, it's a pleasure. Come on back and talk to me more. That's funny. I don't. So we talked up in Washington D.C.
Oh yeah.
Okay, before you go ahead, you can just say your first name and the club you're from, and you can
I'm
get
Sarah
whatever
from the
message you like.
Appalachian Association of Agnostics and Atheists, and we believe that everyone has an equal chance in this world, and everyone is equally loved by whoever is out there. We don't believe that there's someone out there judging us. We believe for ourselves, and we believe that we have
Thank
the
you,
say
Walter.
in what we do, and we don't accept people judging us.
What's wrong with if there is no God? Why is it wrong to judge?
It's wrong to judge because we as a people, as humans, shouldn't judge each other for being different. Because everyone's
Says
different.
who?
Says no one, because there's no one out there that's judging us as a whole. Because we're doing what we want for what we want.
Why is it wrong for me to judge someone if there is no God?
Because it makes people feel bad, and that's all that matters.
So what?
It's all that matters.
What
is
if
that
I don't care that people feel bad? Is it
If you
still
don't care
wrong?
that people feel bad, then yes, it is wrong, because you should feel bad for other people instead of someone
Says
that's-
who?
Says no one. Says us.
No one? Then why should I listen to it if no one's saying it?
Because you're talking to other people that are humans.
But
and
no
other
one's-
people that are humans and are judging you as humans, not
What-
as people that are above and beyond you. You can talk to me. You can talk to me, and I can talk to you. And we can be humans together, and we can appreciate each other as humans. We don't have to have an above and beyond of that.
Am I wrong for judging people?
You're wrong for judging people because everyone can judge people on their own basis, not.
Isn't that a judgment then on your part against
It's a
me?
judgment on my part.
I thought you said I'm wrong for judging people.
You're wrong for judging people.
Why
on
is it
basis-
okay for you to judge people?
I'm not judging people.
You just said you were judging me, that I'm wrong for judging you.
Okay, because no one has to judge us from above. Each of ourselves has our own opinion on everything. We don't have to have one.
So it's okay to
person-
judge?
We don't have to have one person judging on everyone. We can have people judging each other.
So it is okay to judge?
By their personal beliefs, not by the above God that doesn't actually judge anyone.
So my
He's
personal
accepting
beliefs.
Of everyone.
Are you
Everyone.
accepting of me being judgmental?
I'm accepting of you being judgmental because you don't realize that people don't have to be that judgmental, because nobody has to be that judgmental of people.
So are you rescinding your statement that I'm wrong for judging you?
You're wrong for judging me because you're doing it on the wrong basis.
Says who?
You're judging me based on what I believe, and I shouldn't judge you on what you believe. I'm going to leave now because people are yelling at me.
Alrighty. You seem to have no basis on which to say I can or can't judge someone.
You can judge me all you want, and I appreciate that.
Right.
And I still love you, even though you judge me based on a false pretense.
If there is no God, what is love?
Love is a chemical state within the brain that happens when people feel a connection to each other in an emotional state. It's not anything. Thank you for your who will Jesus destroy? That's horribly negative.
Here, I'll give you one that you might like then too. Here's another one. Here's one that's nicer.
The one that's
All right.
nicer.
So love is just a chemical reaction in my brain, which probably you've got a carbonated soda there. So pretty much love is pretty much equal to carbonated fizz in a soda.
I don't think you understand the chemistry of the brain. I don't either, honestly, but I really appreciate if you don't judge people based on something that you haven't seen or
So how
heard
is the
about.
chemical reaction in my brain that you call love more valuable than the chemical reaction of that carbonated soda?
It's not.
So love is. I don't think you live your life.
You aren't as valuable as the chemical reaction in my soda because our brains.
I don't think you live your life with a boyfriend or whoever that's saying that love and carbonated soda are equal. I don't think you live your life like that. I don't think you're being honest.
In nature, and nature is everything.
So when you tell your mom or dad or someone in your family, I love you, that's the same as shaking up a soda and opening it up.
That's a horrible analogy.
You're the one who said that it's the same thing.
It is the same chemical reaction. Because
I don't think you live your life like that.
I live my life like that. And I can't believe these people are yelling at me.
All right.
Have a good day, and I love you.
All right. What's your name?
I'm Sarah.
Sarah. Okay, I'm Buddy.
I hope you appreciate life, and I hope you appreciate everything that's around you, whether it is caused by God or not. I really hope you appreciate everything.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.